How's it going, everybody? It's me, Elias, aka Afrobane, as some people may know me as. Yeah, this is an interesting video to make. This is kind of like my first kind of public video. I'm 30 now, as of April 3rd, which was Friday. I meant to put out a video then, but I had to figure out time to record this. But yeah, it's definitely been interesting. When I turned 20, I was studying abroad in Japan at that time. I was over there, and I turned 20 in a whole nother country. And that was my first study abroad trip, and that was really, man, that was an amazing time in my life, I would say. And those of you guys who know, who's also been there with me during that time, also know. But yeah, I was 20, 10 years ago. It's crazy times flown by. But, you know, I'm making this video to kind of like reflect on things, and, you know, I do want to say things have not always worked out. If you're a millennial like me, you know, 1996 is kind of like that cutoff year for the generation. And so we're like the last of the millennials to kind of hit 30. And it's been interesting. I think a lot of the reason a lot of things seem difficult or like disappointing, at least from my perspective, is I think a lot of things were promised to our age group, or at least to me, and, you know, things just didn't work out that way. And, you know, I knew life wouldn't be like a cakewalk or anything, but, you know, it's kind of hard when you're told through life to do certain things and things will happen and result. You know, I made good grades, you know, straight A's. I stayed off drugs. I, you know, treated people nicely, you know, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, went to college, graduated, you know, all these things where people, you know, like if you do these things will happen. It didn't quite work out that way, you know. And a lot of people know the whole standard track of, you know, going to college, meeting somebody, getting married, starting a family, get a job, like, you know. But I know a lot of us are having problems with that, especially with the way the world is today, which no one could predict. No one could predict how things would have turned out in the world. But I think a lot of people my age are kind of starting to see is like, man, I've done all the right things, and it still didn't turn out the way I thought it would turn out. And I'm not, you know, I'm not saying everything's all bad, but so one of the things I've been feeling lately is like when I was in school, kind of going through college, I felt like I had more goals, and those goals were like, you know, get good grades or get that dream job, do fun things with your buddies, try to beat that video game, get that girl to like me, you know, things like that. And I feel like as an adult, my goals have kind of reduced down to, or just boiled down to, you know, make money, make sure I pay things on time, make things I don't get fired from my job. And I don't know, I just didn't really like having that mindset, at least not all the time. Obviously you want to pay your bills and stuff, but I feel like that was what drove a lot of my goals, was more centered around making money and keeping money and making sure things were in order. All right, I'm not trying to make this video really bleak or anything and depressing. It's just, I just say all that to say 30 feels like a fresh start. It just feels like a page has been turned, and a lot of the really dark things that's happened to me in the last couple years, they're starting to turn positive. You know, they're starting to flip as of 2026, and I was like, you know, maybe this year is really like the year things are starting to connect and come together. Some of the things, you know, I'm hitting the gym now, which I've never done before. I've never hit the gym before. That's really good. I'm doing therapy. I'm meeting new people, and I'm starting some creative projects that I'm doing with some old friends of mine that I really enjoy doing. One of the things that I wanted to do, which, you know, I'm still nervous even recording this, is make more social content, you know, stuff on social media and YouTube, and it's just something I've never done. You know, I've always made video stuff with other people and, you know, companies I worked for, but I've never done it for myself. And I've never been camera shy, but there's something about like making videos for yourself versus making it for other people that's just different. I've always done videos, you know, podcasts, hosting stuff for places I worked at and other, like, you know, friends and stuff. But I never done it for myself, and so it's kind of makes me nervous. Like I may not even post this. Like, this may not even go out. But it's just something I wanted to do. Now I'm 30, is start talking about things that interest me, and whether it be nerdy stuff or just, you know, things that I like. But the reason I've never done it before was because I've always thought, I was like, oh, you know, maybe I'm too ugly or my life's too boring, and I don't know. But I've come to the conclusion that I don't really care anymore, you know? Even if it is, it's, you know, it's kind of like, so what? You know, I've met some people that are kind of telling me that I have stuff to say and they're interested in it. And so I'm kind of, you know, like, why am I holding myself back on this? You know, I think I could do this. So that's part of what I'm doing. So this video is kind of almost like a kickoff point to more videos to come, hopefully. But, you know, now I'm 30, you know, I will say I'm excited. I'm excited for my 30s. I'm looking forward to them. I know some people think, like, oh, I'm getting old, or I'm an unk now or something. But I think I'm excited. And first and foremost, I just want to thank God, and, you know, happy Easter weekend for those who celebrate. And I don't think I could have gotten this far without God and, you know, friends and family along the way. And I think it's been a wonderful journey, and hopefully I can express some of the things I grew up enjoying on here, you know, on my YouTube and Twitch and stuff. But to my fellow 30-year-olds, you know, be encouraged. You know, it ain't even close to being over yet. I think we got a lot to give this world, and I think we can still change it. But if you like this video and more videos like this, just make sure you follow me and like my stuff. I think my next video is going to be more about things that turn 30 this year. Stuff I like, you know, stuff like Tomb Raider or like IGN. They all turned 30 this year, so I might just make a video of cool things that turn 30. But yeah, thank you guys, and like and follow.